Having any luck?
No, not at all.
No?
No, not at all. Well, $1,500.
So if you don't get a ticket, how disappointed will you be?
Very.
G'day, mate. How are you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
Pretty well. Have you had any joy yet? Or?
No, not yet. I wouldn't be standing here with this sign if I had.
What time did you get here?
About 10.
And you haven't had any offers at all?
Yeah, had a few offers. But I'm not prepared to pay the price they're asking, so I'll just wait and pick up something. Otherwise, I'll go home and watch it on television.
Can we ask you what sort of offers you've had?
Yeah, from $1,000 down. $290 for a standing room only.
Do you have any concern about it being against the law?
Yeah, but the AFL seem to condone selling package tickets for inflated prices of their tickets, so it's a double-edged sword, I reckon.
That's an interesting point. I guess that
costs you $3,900 to buy a package deal from WA to come over here with a 2 nights accommodation and a breakfast and a ticket. If that's not inflated, I'll go heat. Double standards. I could sell you a ticket for over here now for $1,000 or $600 and I'll get fined.
So I guess the question is, why aren't the AFL getting fined?
It's a good question. If you're an authorised seller, it's all right to do it. So, where's the equality?
Well, as long as we're not a member, as long as the members can get tickets, and well, that's all right. But I don't think they can they?
Well, I understand they've got to go into a ballot, and then it's all potluck from there. Do you?
So this is what we're on about. You're really wrangling the system around onto the tickets.
Well, we want to know about it. We want to know. Do you think it's fair?
Well, you can buy tickets. You could get tickets now, but they cost you $1,000. But you have to get a 3-course meal for it, wouldn't you?
So, what do you think about it? Do you think that's a sort of form of scalping in itself?
Well, as the AFL are doing the scalping, aren't they?
Well, this is what I'm asking.
I knew there's some catch to it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just posing the question. I mean, what do you think? They sort of outlaw scalping.
The AFL should perhaps say should instead of ripping like we had a look on the internet and you got grand final tickets, 1,000 and I don't know whether it was so much in the thousands to get a 3-course meal and tickets. Well, how many people is that open it to?
And also, if you can afford it too, then you've got to spend your $2,000 to get the centre square. But it seems to be a lot of money for those people that can't afford it, and they'll have to. But you make do in life, If you can't make it here on the big day to watch it, well then set up a party, do it at home. You can moan about it, but I mean, if we didn't get tickets, that's what we'd do, and get on the juice too.
Get on the juice. Those centre square packages, the AFL put them together. They're $2,000. Do you reckon that's a form of scalping in itself?
That's an interesting point. They're obviously classifying that as entertainment because they're putting on food, singers, and you also get a ticket to the grand final. But I think you're up against a bit of a beast if you try and take them on, mate. If you want to go down that line, I hadn't thought of it like that, but you put it like that, that might be true. Yeah.
There's not the tickets available now for the grand finals as there was years ago. It's become what I term as very corporate, very yuppified, because it's the done thing to be seen at the grand final now. So your traditional supporters really don't have as many options to actually get to the grand final as they did years ago. I mean, the ticket price is quite expensive anyway to come, and I can understand that, but when you put it in packages like that, I mean, I don't know, I couldn't afford to pay $2,000 for something like that. And one of the women who I used to work with, her son is overseas, and they were offered a whole heap of grand final tickets if they wanted to come and see the grand final. And I mean, you sort of wonder, so there was about 20, 30 tickets offered to whatever school or whatever business he was in overseas, and so he's just decided, well, he'd fly back for the grand final. So you wonder then, you sort of think, oh well, how can they do that?
Well, in my belief, it is like scalping, because it's only corporate people or business people who are going to be able to afford to do that. So I don't believe it's right for the people's game.
Like, how does it make you feel?
Ripped off, sure. It makes me feel ripped off. like, I'd love to come to the football grand finals all the time, but you just can't afford it. But when you're offering these $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 packages, it is a type of scalping, in my belief. So they rip these blokes off here that scalp tickets for $200, $300. Why don't they get bloody charged and fined?
Not so much scalping, rorting, I would say. Yeah, well, they were advertising them on the footy show last night, $1,900 and something dollars. Yeah, well, yeah, not so much scalping, but I think that they have a far greater allocation to people who have got a lot more money or a lot more, I don't know, what they'd like to think class are allowed to get to the games, and they're not the ones who turn out every week and stand in the rain and freezing cold. So, yeah.
Don't do the hard yards?
No, they don't.
Yeah, probably yes, for sure. Yeah. I think they should. It's pretty hard to pre-sell tickets. That's where the problem lies. But I'm always worried about the supporters, all the supporters, even this ballot system you're talking about earlier. We all want to get in. You know, all the supporters who buy a membership ticket should be guaranteed a grand final ticket, I reckon.
Look, I think it's a corporate game. I think the game, and look, I'm a dinosaur because I sort of come from tribal Richmond versus tribal Collingwood versus tribal, Essendon. So I'm one of the dinosaurs. So there's a lot of things I don't particularly like about the game, but you kind of move on really. And the fact is, it's become a corporate game. The fact is, there's a lot of money involved. The fact is that people are prepared to pay. And there's a lot of sort of infrastructure, example sort of conventions and companies who make money out of the grand final. It's just the way I think that it's gone, and it certainly won't go back to the old tribal days where people line up for 100,000 tickets.
Yeah, the big sleepovers and
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Still,
yeah. You want to look at it like that? It is. Yeah, it probably is. Only the rich can afford it, then, can't they? So that's probably what all the finals tickets are getting like that too. Like there's a huge jump this week from what it was last week. You got to, if you want a half decent seat, you're paying $100 this week. Last week it was $60.
If you miss out on the ballot, would you consider getting him off a scalper?
Not me. I wouldn't. Not interested.
No. Who knows? I mean, when it comes down to it, you might want to do anything to see Bulldogs. Given the rareness.
That's right.
What do you think of the whole scalping situation?
Yeah, well, can't really do much about it. Someone's always going to flog them off. So. Yeah.
What about the scalping situation? You got any thoughts on?
Well, some people, don't want to go and see your team. Like for Geelong was 44 years last year. Some of my friends, they wanted to get a ticket. That's one of the options.
How much, if you could get a ticket through scalping, how much would you be prepared to pay?
Double than the normal ticket. That's about it.
There was a kid, he'd be about 15, and he was saying tickets, and a fella come up to him, scalping the ticket, and he pulled the money out, and the kid snapped the money out of his hand and took off like great lightning. Little bugger. Yeah. And I know another bloke bought tickets off a scalper, and they were the year before's grand final ticket.